Jeremy, Jeremy.
Alright, what's going on, my people? Welcome to the SN95 Power channel. So I have to say, I'm a pretty trusting person, but for whatever reason, I'm raising the BS flag with this transmission. And here's why I say this, because there really hasn't been a lot that changed with the transmission that was in that car when I was running the turbo small block Ford. Now, originally this transmission was garage built by me. I used it for 2 years without a single issue out of this transmission. So, with the help of Darren at BCA, he supplied a lot of parts for me. He was my knowledge base that I reached out to. I don't think Darren is building transmissions anymore. If that was the case, I would have went to him. But fast forward to this Coyote swap. Even though I didn't have any problems with this transmission, I'm like, hey, you know what? I want a professional to take a look at it, to go over my work. I took it to this place. I can't find the sticker. But yeah, hype it up. Yeah, this is going to be the greatest thing ever. We built the greatest, yada, yada, yada. Took him some updated pieces. There's really only one updated thing that I took him was the direct drum, Sonic's direct drum. Here you go. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna put 7 clutches in that. I already had the high capacity for it. Drum. He's gonna rebuild it using all these, I forgot the name of the clutches, and it was going to be good to spin to 8,000 RPM with the torque converter that I had. Ever since I first started this car, I had some kind of cavitation noise coming from I thought it was cavitation noise. I had some noise coming from the front of the transmission. I thought it was fluid. I thought it was cavitation. It kind of cascaded. That cavitation noise kind of became a tapping noise. At that point, I'm just like, all right, I really don't want to do this. I got to pull the transmission. So here we are today. I am starting off by just removing the valve body. Now, the car has always shifted. The 2.3 was very hard, and I thought it was pinion angle. I played around with that pinion angle from like 1/2 degree to like 3 degrees, and it still had that hard 2.3 shift. Even with the line pressure in the Holly, I played around with that line pressure. No matter what I did, I had a very hard 2.3 shift. Some people said it's because of that Sonic's drum. That's just a byproduct of that Sonic's drum. Now I'm just kind of thinking maybe there's no 2.3 accumulator spring in there. The 1.2 was like butter. It's like the best 1.2 shift I've ever had on this car. But that 2.3, man, it was slam to the point where it sounded like metal on metal. I think my torque converter is messed up. My torque converter is messed up, and I think my front pump is messed up. So basically, we're just going back with a stock 2002 GT transmission. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this valve body apart. Not really going to take it apart. I'm just going to take a look at a couple of things. He claimed it had a shift kit. Like, I don't think he did a J-mod, but a lot of these shift kits open up some of the holes like the J-mod does. I don't think a J-mod is a DIY shift kit. You just drill a couple of holes in a separator plate, adds more fluid. You can remove some springs from the accumulators to make it shift a little bit harder. So yeah, I'm just going to right now just take this torque converter off, kind of see what these 1.2 and 2.3 springs look like. So let's start off by saying I've had a couple of people comment on this, like, hey, you should have done a manual swap. And ideally, yeah, a manual swap would be pretty dope on this car. But the reality is, I'm not a stick shift pro, and it's okay to admit that. So I'm sticking with
the automatic transmission, and people have gotten great results out of this 4R70W. It's a lot of videos out here on how to rebuild this thing. The parts aren't cheap. I mean, the parts are cheap, and like I said, there's plenty of instructional videos out here on how to rebuild this, and I had success rebuilding it the first time by myself. But you know, this time around I wanted a professional to do it, and you know, for whatever reason it just didn't work out. So right now, I think I'm doing is just transferring the parts from the quote built transmission to the unbuilt one. Now, I have a theory that the hard shifting on that 2.3 that I was having with this transmission is partly because of how the builder set up the transmission. You know, he builds a lot of race cars, and I told him, like, hey, this is a dual purpose car, and I think he set this up to be more of a race car shifting transmission.
All right, so I got the 1-2 springs out of the old transmission. I put that into the older transmission. Stupid flies. The overdrive servo, I don't know if I can, actually I don't remember how to pull that out. I don't know if that band is going to get out of position. So I'm going to look that up. If I press down on that servo, release the clamp, is the overdrive, am I going to be able to get the overdrive spring back into position? Because I think I might not. I don't know. I have to look it up.
So I get the question, why didn't I run a 10R80 or a 6R80? In order to run the 10R80, I would have to use the forward control pack, and I was more comfortable tuning with the Holley F5 because I have more experience with that. And I like the way that you can obviously run the wires with the Holley F5 and the placement of the ECU. Now with the 6R80, I would have had to buy a US shift controller, and I wanted something that was just one single unit that was able to control the transmission and the engine. So I decided just to use the Holley EFI. So this is the aftermarket Sonic spring. It has the O-ring right there, and there's another O-ring at the bottom of this to help seal that bore. That bore is known to wear over time. And another thing about the 6R80, it's good, I think, if you are out here doing 60 to 130 pulls, but on the quarter mile, 3 shifts to get you to your trap, I think can be less expensive if stuff breaks. Honestly, it's a very reliable transmission for our 70W if you build it right.
All right, so we got everything that I wanted in the new old transmission: overdrive servos, stock springs, a couple of TCC and shift solenoids, electronic pressure I let stay in there. So now we're going to torque that valve body to, I believe, 25 inch-pounds. I'm going to look it up to make sure.
One thing I might do next year is get an upgraded valve body. I might go with a Silver Fox and get him to build me a valve body. But for right now, I think this transmission will be serviceable for what I'm going to do for the rest of this year. Now, during the off season, I'll put the built transmission back in, but just to get through the rest of this year, I think we'll just rock this stock GT transmission.
All right, so we have pretty much everything switched over on these transmissions. The only thing I have to do now is put the new, transmission filter on the new old transmission. So here's the other thing that I'm kind of up against. I have a deep pan, and it's under the car someplace. Should I put the deep pan back on? And the reason why I'm kind of hesitant, because the deep pan is aluminum, and you can't put the magnet that the stock pans have up in the aluminum pan. It doesn't work. So should I go with the deep or capacity pan, or just go with the pan I have on here right now
and I can have the magnet on here. The reason why you run a deep pan is to hold more fluid, obviously. But the more fluid, it's should help give you more heat capacity, and that's kind of the idea behind it, roughly. I have like a really good transmission cooler, like one of the biggest coolers that you can buy on the market. And now I have that hurricane style cooling fan. I don't really think I have to worry about transmission temperature. So I think the benefit of having the magnet in the pan outweighs the extra capacity of fluid. So I think I'm just going to rock with the stock pan and still have the ability to have the magnet. So one other thing I need to do is I need to check this flex plate. So I need to take this flex plate off, check it, make sure it doesn't have any cracks. Make sure it's true. The idea behind the flex plate is it's supposed to flex. So I did flex it a lot when I was trying to check this thing out, but we still need to take it off and inspect it. So what I'm not going to go back with the deep pan. I decided to just use the steel pan. That way I can keep the magnet in there. I think it's a good trade-off, being able to have that magnet as opposed to the extra, I think, 2 quarts. I am running a Durali race transmission cooler, so that thing already has a high capacity. So I think it's was it a net positive? So we'll just keep the steel pan on there. But getting this transmission up here by myself with this transmission jack was a little challenging, I have to say. I don't know if it's because I'm out of practice, because of the Coyote motor, I don't know, but for whatever reason it took me a while. And with the magic of time lapse, it seems like this was a fairly easy thing to do, but this is probably an hour 30 minutes of me struggling to get this thing mounted. All right, I got the trans mounting up. All right, so not as hard putting it back up. Lining up the bell housing dowel pins was a little annoying, but not something that you can't do by yourself. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to wait before I put the drive shaft safety loop up, and say that 3 times fast, because it's kind of hard to get a true pinion angle with that safety loop on. So I'm just going to put the drive shaft on and get the H pipe on, fill it with fluid, and then we'll start it up. All right, so this is what I like to use to fill the transmission up with fluid. This is just like some kind of pressurized fluid dispenser. I've got that sticking down in the fill tube right there. I put 3 quarts in at a time. It's a no mess kind of situation. Cars in park. Hopefully my safety neutral switch is set. Yeah, let me make sure you don't have any fuel leaks. Because I did play around with this fitting. Nope, everything's good. See what it does. Well, that rattle is coming from something. something's rattling. I don't think it's anything in the pan. And it looks like I got to take back what I said about my transmission builder, and I got to take back what I said about the torque converter. All right. I don't want to put the car in gear just yet. Man, I don't know what that rattle could be. All right, let's experiment around a little bit. Let's take this. Let's take this jack right here. Let's try to lift up on the rear of the transmission a little bit. The only thing I did was just use that to put some weight on the transmission. I think I might, if I can ever figure out what the hell is going on with this car, I think I might go mufflerless. I like the way that sounds on that cold start. All right, I don't think that changed the pitch of it. So let's come down. What else could it be? Let's think about this. I don't know, y'all. I'm open to suggestions. The only other thing that I could do is disconnect the transmission. Maybe I should have did that while the transmission was disconnected. Started the engine and make sure it's not the rods. But I did do the trick where you put like a screwdriver and kind of use it as a stethoscope to try to single out where the noise is coming from, and it's not coming from the pan, it's coming from that area. I think the only thing I can do right now is get the car on the ground, run through the gears, make sure the gears are good, see if the sound goes away when I put the car in gear, because that's kind of how I started last time. Put the car in gear, the sound goes away. That doesn't work. Yeah, I'm not sure. All right, I think I'm onto something here, y'all. And the reason why I say that is started the car just trying to isolate the sound of that rattle. I started up there at the oil pan. Nah, it's not really hearing it from there. I kind of made my way back to like the bell housing area. Didn't really hear it. I kind of came here and it got a little bit louder. And then I just kind of stuck my head around here, and I'm like, wait a second. This rattling is coming from back here. And so I thought it was, you know, it could have been like these hangers or something like that. This is a brand new BBK catted X pipe. And my guy Shovel has a video on his channel where he had an issue. He doesn't say that it's these BBK catted X pipe or H pipe, but looking at his video, it looks, I'm about 90% sure. And Shovel, if you're watching this, just chime in. I'm about 90% sure it's this same setup, and he had a failure with his cats. I'm going to take these off, and I'm going to put the mufflers on here. And I think that I'm hoping that this has been the problem. It would suck balls so much if this has been the issue this whole time, is these freaking cats. So let's do a time lapse. I'm gonna take this off, install the vibrance, and see if the sound goes away. Today, there's probably only been 3 Coyote motors that I've heard that I absolutely love. The latest one is from Sick Fox. His Coyote swap notchback, the silver one. I don't know what the exhaust is. I don't know what kind of cams he's got on that thing, but I would love to have my cars to sound like that. But one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to put cams in this car, but I am going to play around with this exhaust, and eventually one day I will find an exhaust that I like. All right, so we have the straight pipe. Well, I guess it's not straight pipe, just a off-road exhaust. The cats are gone for testing purposes. I put these mufflers on here so it won't be crazy loud, but let's see how loud it gets. Like that freaking BBK. Okay. Brand new. Not even 100 miles on these things. And I'm gonna try to get this sound. Just like that. So I spent the last, oh my gosh, 2-3 weeks, probably more. I don't know how many hours. I swapped out a perfectly good transmission, perfectly good torque converter. Although some of the, how can I say this? Some of the material, once I drained everything out of this transmission, it seems like there was some wearing of material, which is, you know, kind of normal, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this right now. I guess I don't have to make a decision about that until that transmission breaks. But these 4i70Ws are pretty strong. I first did this swap. I had a V6 4i70W with, I think those only had 3 intermediate clutches. I think that's really the big difference between the V6 and the V8s is the intermediate clutches. I think the V8s have 4 and the V6 has 3. I think I did a J-mod on the valve body, and that transmission lasted, gosh, at least 2 years with a lot of street beating, a couple of track events, and a stock converter. So yeah, those stock form 4i70Ws can take some abuse. Now I do have a stock converter, 12-inch. I won't be able to rev this thing as high as I would with the 258 millimeter Circle D over there, but hey, at least we were back running, like, and BK, like, really, for this, like, real shitty. But it's kind of one of these things, you know. It's a lesson in patience and perseverance. Like, these projects will kick you in the nuts as often as it can, but you know, there's a lot of resources out here. And like I said, if my man Shovel would not have put that video out, I probably wouldn't have come down to this road just knowing that this BK. I'm sorry, y'all. So I guess this is kind of like a good and a bad thing. You know, I wasted so much time and energy trying to concentrate on this transmission being bad, and it turned out to be an exhaust piece, a garbage exhaust piece from BBK. I have to say, man, like, I heard this noise when I first started this car. It was real faint, and it just started getting worse and worse and worse. So it's nothing to do with the tuning, because as a matter of fact, now that I think about it, when I first started this car, I had the stock H pipe on here, and stock H pipe didn't give me any problems, like no rattling, no nothing. That's even in the early on tuning when it was rich as crap, and when I was really beating up on that exhaust system with my tuning. It wasn't until I got the tune pretty decent as far as part throttle, I put on the BBK H pipe, and then I started working my way up to a full throttle. So it wasn't me just installing this BBK H pipe and just throwing all kind of garbage tune at it. I had the tune fairly dialed in before I even got to the point of wide open throttle pulls, but it's all water under the bridge right now. We got the new transmission in. I kind of made a couple little mistakes on putting this back together. We'll go over that in the next video, but hey man, like I'm at peace with this right now. Like I was pretty pissed off. I was pretty upset. Like my apologies to the transmission builder. That's why I kind of didn't want to throw the name out there of the builder just yet, because I want to cross my dots and I want to cross my T's and dot my I's, and just make sure that I really knew that it was the transmission that was giving me problems before I threw this guy's name out there. But yeah, it seems like the transmission has been good all this time, and you know, it just came down, not even to installation error on my part. It's just some faulty, crappy BBK product. And so yeah, next video we'll get the car back out on the road. I'll show you a couple of things that I kind of screwed up in that wasted even more of my time after I installed the used transmission. And you know, pretty soon we're gonna have a talk about some future plans for this channel, because next year I've got something lined up that's going to be very exclusive for our community, and I really hope it just pans out. So hey, if you like this 4th generation Mustang stuff, subscribe to the channel, tell a couple of people about the channel, hit that bell notification, because season's not over with yet. You know, I'm here in the Midwest. I probably got a good 2.5 months, but pretty soon we're gonna make a pivot to getting prepared for ponies next year, because this car is definitely going to ponies next year. So hey, I appreciate y'all rocking me on this long video. Until next time, God bless.